Most people think power comes from intelligence, money, status, influence. But one of the greatest forms of power is something far less visible. Emotional control, because the person who controls your emotions, controls your decisions, your reactions, your behavior, and in a world designed to trigger emotional responses every day, most people are constantly being controlled without realizing it. One comment ruins their mood. One criticism destroys their confidence. One rejection changes their entire day. But emotionally disciplined people operate differently. They feel emotions, but they are not ruled by them. And once you master emotional control, you become far more difficult to manipulate than the average person. Most people live reactively. Pay attention to how most people move through life. Something happens. They react. Someone insults them. They react. Someone disagrees with them. They react. Someone ignores them. They react. Their emotional state is constantly controlled by external events. The problem is that reactive people rarely feel in control of their lives, because their internal state depends on what happens around them. Good news creates happiness. Bad news creates frustration. Criticism creates insecurity. Praise creates confidence. Their emotions rise and fall according to circumstances. And this creates instability, because when your emotions depend entirely on external events, your peace becomes fragile. Emotional control is not emotional suppression. Many people misunderstand emotional control. They think it means becoming cold, emotionless, detached. But that is not control. That is suppression. And suppressed emotions rarely disappear. They simply wait, growing quietly beneath the surface, until eventually they explode. Real emotional control is different. It means recognizing emotions without becoming controlled by them, feeling anger without becoming aggressive, feeling fear without becoming paralyzed, feeling disappointment without becoming defeated. Emotionally strong people do not avoid emotions. They learn how to experience them without surrendering their behavior to them. And that distinction changes everything. Your emotions are not always telling the truth. One of the most dangerous mistakes people make is assuming every emotion is accurate. But emotions are signals, not facts. Fear does not always mean danger. Jealousy does not always mean betrayal. Anxiety does not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes emotions are responding to past experiences, past wounds, past insecurities, past conditioning. And if you automatically obey every emotion, you begin making decisions based on temporary feelings rather than reality. Emotionally disciplined people understand this. They pause, observe, question their reactions, because they know that emotions provide information. But information is not the same thing as truth. Pause creates power. One of the simplest signs of emotional maturity is the ability to pause. Most people react instantly. They speak instantly, defend instantly, argue instantly, regret instantly. But emotionally controlled individuals create space between stimulus and response. A criticism arrives. They pause. A provocation arrives. They pause. A stressful situation appears. They pause. That small moment changes everything, because emotional reactions are often automatic. But thoughtful responses require awareness. And awareness only becomes possible when you stop reacting immediately. This is why the pause itself is powerful. It interrupts impulsive behavior. And once impulsive behavior disappears, better decisions begin appearing. People can only manipulate the emotions you don't control. Manipulation depends on emotional triggers: fear, anger, validation, guilt, insecurity. The more emotionally reactive you are, the easier you become to influence. This is why manipulators constantly target emotions instead of logic. They want emotional reactions, because emotional reactions reduce clear thinking. A person consumed by anger becomes predictable. A person consumed by insecurity becomes controllable. A person desperate for validation becomes dependent. But emotionally disciplined people are difficult to manipulate, not because they know every trick, but because they control their reactions. And when someone cannot easily control your emotions, they struggle to control your behavior. Calmness creates presence. Have you ever noticed how calm people often command respect without saying much? There is a reason for that. Calmness signals stability, security, self-control. Most people are accustomed to emotional chaos, stress, impulsiveness, overreaction. So when someone remains composed under pressure, it stands out immediately. Their presence feels different, grounded, steady. reliable. People naturally trust emotional stability because emotional stability feels safe. And this is why calm individuals often appear powerful. Not because they dominate others, but because they dominate themselves. True strength is internal. Many people spend their lives trying to control external things. Other people, outcomes, situations, reputations. But life remains unpredictable. People remain unpredictable. Circumstances remain unpredictable. The only thing truly under your control is yourself, your thoughts, your behavior, your responses. And once someone understands this, their focus changes completely. Instead of trying to control the world, they learn to control their own mind. Instead of demanding certainty, they build resilience. Instead of seeking power over others, they develop power over themselves. And that is where genuine strength begins. The art of emotional control is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming intentional, feeling emotions without becoming enslaved by them, experiencing pressure without collapsing under it, remaining calm when others become reactive. Because every day, people will challenge your patience, your confidence, your self-control, and you cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you respond. That ability changes everything. It protects you from manipulation, improves your decisions, strengthens your relationships, and creates a kind of quiet power that most people never develop. Because real strength is not measured by how much force you can exert over others, is measured by how much control you have over yourself. And the person who masters their emotions masters a part of life that most people spend years fighting against.